Haribol. It's working. No worries. Jai, Hare Krishna. I think we're chanting Jai Radha Madhava. I heard this is what we do. Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana 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 Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krišna Hare Krišna Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Jaya Pancha Tattva Jaya Pancha Tattva Jaya Pancha Tattva Jaya Pancha Tattva Tattva Jaya Pancha Tattva Jaya Pancha Tattva Jaya Pancha Tattva Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Shri Panchatattva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming to read something from Bhagavad Gita as it is. Okay, very interesting. Okay. So we read from chapter 11, the universal form. Text 54. Okay, let's see. Ananyaya shakyam ahamevam vidorjuna gyatum drashtum chatatvena praveshtum cha parantapa bhakti-atvananyaya shakya ahamevam vidorjuna gyatum drashtum chatatvena praveshtum cha parantapa bhakti-atvananyaya shakya evam vidorjuna drashtum chatatvena praveshtum cha parantapa bhakti-atvananyaya shakya ahamevam vidorjuna gyatum drashtum chatatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. Okay. Bhakti-atvananyaya shakya ahamevam vidorjuna drashtum chatatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. Okay, Hare Krishna. Bhaktya by devotional service to but ananyaya without being mixed with fruitive activities or speculative knowledge. It's secret, huh? Okay. Okay, let's see again. Without being mixed with fruitive activities or speculative knowledge. Shakya, possible. Aham, I. Evam vida, like this. Arjuna, O Arjuna. Gyatum, to know. Drashtum, to see. Cha, and. Tatvena, in fact. Praveshtum, to enter into. Cha, also. Parantapa, O subduer of the enemy. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. It's quite a long purport, so have a patience. Okay, just 4 pages. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Krishna can be understood only by the process of undivided devotional service. He explicitly explains that this in this verse, so that unauthorized commentators who try to understand Bhagavad Gita by the speculative process will know that they are simply wasting their time. No one can understand Krishna or how he came from parents in a 4-handed form and at once changed himself into a 2-handed form. These things are very difficult to understand by study of the Vedas or by philosophical speculation. Therefore, it is clearly stated here that no one can see him or enter into understanding of these matters. Those who, however, are very experienced students of Vedic literature can learn about him from the Vedic literature in so many ways. There are so many rules and regulations, and if one at all wants to understand Krishna, he must follow the regulative principles described in the authoritative literature. One can perform penance in accordance with those principles. For example, to undergo serious penances, one may observe fasting on Janmashtami. Tafa. Not what Hiranyakashipu was doing, but close. Just joking. The day on which Krishna appeared, and on the 2 days of Ekadashi, the 11th day after the new moon, and the 11th day after the full moon. As far as charity is concerned, it is plain that charity should be given to the devotees of Krishna who are engaged in his devotional service, to spread the Krishna philosophy or Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Krishna consciousness is a benediction to humanity. Lord Chaitanya was appreciated by Rupa Goswami as the most munificent man of charity because love of Krishna, which is very difficult to achieve, was distributed freely by him. So if one gives some amount of his money to persons involved in distributing Krishna consciousness, that charity given to spread Krishna consciousness is the greatest charity in the world. So if you have some extra money and you don't know what to do, that's Srila Prabhupada gives some idea. And if one worships as prescribed in the temple, and further comment, in the temples in India, there is always some statue, usually of Vishnu or Krishna. That is a chance to progress by offering worship and respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For the beginners in devotional service to the Lord, temple worship is essential. And this is confirmed in the Vedic literature. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.23. Yasya deve parabhaktir, yata deve tatagurau, tasyate katyate hyarta prakashante mahatmanaha. One who has unflinching devotion for the Supreme Lord and is directed by the spiritual master, in whom he has similar unflinching faith, can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead by revelation. One cannot understand Krishna by mental speculation. For one who does not take personal training under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, it is impossible to even begin to understand Krishna. The word tu is specifically used here to indicate that no other process can be used, can be recommended, or can be successful in understanding Krishna. The personal forms of Krishna, the two-handed form and the four-handed form, are completely different from the temporary universal form shown to Arjuna. The four-handed form of Narayana and the two-handed form of Krishna are eternal and transcendental, whereas the universal form exhibited to Arjuna is temporary. The very word sudur darsham, meaning difficult to see, suggests that no one had seen that universal form. It also suggests that among the devotees there was no necessity of showing it. That form was exhibited by Krishna at the request of Arjuna, so that in the future, when one represents himself as an incarnation of God, people can ask to see his universal form. The word na, used repeatedly in the previous verse, indicates that one should not be very much proud of such credentials as an academic education in Vedic literature. One must take to the devotional service of Krishna. Only then can one attempt to write commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Krishna changes from the universal form to the four-handed form of Narayana and then to his own natural form of two hands. This indicates that the four-handed forms and the other forms mentioned in Vedic literature are all emanations of the original two-handed Krishna. He is the origin of all emanations. Krishna is distinct even from these forms. What to speak of the impersonal conception? As far as the four-handed forms of Krishna are concerned, it is stated clearly that even the most identical four-handed form of Krishna, which is known as Mahavishnu, who is lying on the cosmic ocean, and from whose breathing so many innumerable universes are passing out and entering, is also an expansion of the Supreme Lord. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Yasaika Nishvasita Kalam Atavalambya Jivanti Loma Vila Jajagat Anda Nata Vishnur Mahan Saiha Yasya Kala Vishasho Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Vajami. The Mahavishnu, into whom all the innumerable universes enter, and from whom they come forth again simply by his breathing process, is a plenary expansion of Krishna. Therefore, I worship Govinda, Krishna, the cause of all causes. Therefore, one should conclusively worship the personal form of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has eternal bliss and knowledge. He is the source of all forms of Vishnu. He is the source of all forms of incarnation. And he is the original Supreme Personality as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. In the Vedic literature, Gopalatapani Upanishad 1.1, the following statement appears. Sakchid Ananda Rupaya, Krishnaya Krishta Karine, Namo Vedanta Vedyaya, Gurave Buddhi Sakshine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Krishna, who has a transcendental form of bliss, eternity, and knowledge. I offer my respect to him, because understanding him means understanding the Vedas. And he is therefore the supreme spiritual master. Then it is said, Krishna vai paramam daivatam. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Eko vashi sarvaga Krishna idya. That one Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he is worshipable. Ekopi san bahuda yo vabati. Krishna is one, but he is manifested in unlimited forms and expanded incarnation. Gopalatapani, Upanishad 1.21. The Brahma Samhita 5.1 says Ishvara Parama Krishna Sakchidananda Vigraha Nadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna, who has a body of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. He has no beginning, for he is the beginning of everything. He is the cause of all causes. Elsewhere it is said, Yatravat Tirnam Krishna Kyam Param Brahmana Narakriti. The Supreme Absolute Truth is a person. His name is Krishna, and he sometimes descends on this earth. Similarly, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find a description of all kinds of incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in this list the name of Krishna also appears. But then it is said that this Krishna is not an incarnation of God, but is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Ete chamsha kalapumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Svayam. Similarly, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Mata parataram nanyat. There is nothing superior to my form as the personality of Godhead, Krishna. He also says elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, Aham adir hidevanam. I am the origin of all the demigods. And after understanding Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, Arjuna also confirms this in the following words, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavritam Paramam Bhavan. I now fully understand that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, and that you are the refuge of everything. Therefore, the universal form which Krishna showed to Arjuna is not the original form of God. The original is the Krishna form. The universal form, with its thousands and thousands of heads and hands, is manifest just to draw the attention of those who have no love for God. It is not God's original form. The universal form is not attractive for pure devotees who are in love with the Lord in different transcendental relationships. The Supreme Godhead exchanges transcendental love in his original form of Krishna. Therefore, to Arjuna, who was so intimately related with Krishna in friendship, this form of the universal manifestation was not pleasing. Rather, it was fearful. Arjuna, who was a constant companion of Krishna's, must have had transcendental eyes. He was not an ordinary man. Therefore, he was not captivated by the universal form. This form may seem wonderful to persons who are involved in elevating themselves by fruitive activity, but to persons who are engaged in devotional service, the two-handed form of Krishna is the most dear. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Prahladananda Swami Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti-vedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Adeshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare-rama, Hare-rama, Rama-rama, Hare-hare. Hare Krishna. It's a long purport, and there's many ideas inside. And I somehow got blocked to the original text and to the first paragraph. Because I was meditating these days on this war in Ukraine, which happens in material world. Sometimes wars happen in the material world. And I got to some conclusions which I will share. Conclusions. I mean, it's not my conclusion, it's Srila Prabhupada's conclusion. And here in the text, Krishna says to Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am. So he doesn't say by some devotional service. He said by undivided, just fully fixed. And there, related to this, there is the famous example of undivided devotion and divided shelter, let's say, which is Draupadi. When they were trying to disrobe Draupadi in this arena, Draupadi asked for Krishna's help. And Krishna came after some time. And then Draupadi, he helped by giving her unlimited sari. So they were trying to disrobe it and more sari would come. Like one room full of sari. So then Draupadi was asking Krishna, okay, you came, but why so late? Because it took some time until he came and helped. And Krishna says, oh, well, in the beginning, you are chanting Krishna, 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 but you are like looking, okay, Bhishma, can you help? And she was trying to run to Gandhari. She couldn't reach there. And then she was looking, Arjuna, maybe you can help. She was chanting Hare Krishna, but she was chanting Krishna's name, and she was looking for shelter in Krishna. But she also had other. She had a plan B. So then she asked for help from the Pandavas, Gandhari, Bhishma, everyone there. So no one could help. And she was asking for help from Krishna, but not really so convinced. Not undivided attention on Krishna. Some some shelter in Krishna, some shelter in somewhere else. And only when she finally understood that, okay, there is no one can help me. So then she just lifted her arms and said, okay, Krishna. And then Krishna, okay, he did something. Okay, yes, sure, I can help. No worries, no problem. So this is the classical example about finding shelter. And I was thinking of this war in Ukraine, and okay, it's many things that are happening. And this is about shelter. Okay, I will just get there because I something before. There is this war in Ukraine or any other war, this COVID crisis, is showing us some very easy to understand thing, but which doesn't seem very easy to understand. We act like it's not true. There is this famous discussion between Yamaraj and Maharaj Yudhishthir. And there's Yamaraj asks a few questions. And last question of this is, what is the most amazing thing? Which Maharaj Yudhishthir has a very interesting answer. So I'll just read it. Okay. So Maharaj Yudhishthir, how does he respond? He says, Ahani ahani bhutani gachantiha yamalayam shesha stavaram ichanti kim ashcharyam ataparam. Ashcharyam means amazing. We know there's this amazing verse. And the translation of this is that hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment. Hundreds and thousands. But foolish living beings nonetheless think themselves deathless and do not prepare for it. This is the most wonderful thing in the world. So we every day people are dying, but we think someone else, someone somewhere else. And now, and this with this COVID crisis, so people are dying from COVID. People are dying, you know. Every time people are dying, and then there's this crisis. Okay, now COVID is a bit, and now is war, you know, in Ukraine. And I just imagine I saw some pictures from Kharkov, which is a city in Ukraine. You imagine, like 5 days ago, 1 week ago, you are just sitting around happily with your family. Everything is fine, huh? Everything is good. And in 1 week, your house is destroyed. Destroyed, I mean, finished. Everything you have, all your shelter is gone, finished. 1 week, and you think, oh no, I have time, I have shelter. Okay. And then we think, oh yeah, but this exactly like Maharaj Yudhishthir is saying, no, but this cannot happen to us. You know, I mean, Ukraine is far. You know, it's from Romania. It's actually they have a common border, so it's not so far. But yes, Ukraine is somewhere far. It's not in EU. It's not in NATO. We're protected. We're all good. But actually, it can happen anywhere. You can tomorrow. We can. There is some bomb falling in this yard of the temple. It can happen. We think no, this cannot happen to us, but it can. Or something less spectacular. We go in front of the temple and a car bumps into us, and so yeah, we think, oh, we have time. No worries. Yeah, I have time. Like many times we go and distribute books, and people say, no, I will take the book tomorrow. Like you go in Duplek. In Duplek you go like maybe every 10 years. So you go to these people and say, do you want a book? No, I will take tomorrow. Well, tomorrow is in 10 years. Next chance, next opportunity for you to take this book is in 10 years. I'm sorry. No. Yeah, I have time. I have time. No worries. No problem. So that's one of very important obstacle in spiritual life. We tend to say, yeah, later. Situation is good. It's peaceful. And that's why all these problems come up. If you see in Bhagavatam, most of the devotees, they have big problems. they are not... Bhagavatam is not about peaceful meditation. Some devotees are sitting there and they're like, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh, okay. And no problems. No problem. Actually, the the classical example in Bhagavatam about peaceful meditation is Prahlad Maharaj. And sometimes Prahlad Maharaj is peacefully meditating in boiling oil. And sometimes Prahlad Maharaj is peacefully meditating while being thrown at the snakes. And sometimes Prahlad Maharaj is peacefully meditating while they throw him off a cliff. So yeah, that's that's the example of peaceful meditation. But the external conditions are not so nice, and this is good. This is intentional, because this material world is not meant to be a nice place, and it's really good to remember this. And we have these events which remind us, this is a bad place. And if you try to fix this material world, it's not going to work. Actually, there's I just have a particular liking for Prahlad Maharaj, and he likes to say things in a very direct way. He's a very good preacher. He says about finding solutions to the problem, because sometimes we think, I have this problem and I will find some solution. We'll fix it somehow, and then life is good. Yeah. And then Prahlad Maharaj says, "O Great One, O Supreme Lord, because of combination with pleasing and displeasing circumstances, and because of separation from them, one is placed in a most regrettable position within heavenly or hellish planets, as if burning in a fire of lamentation." And this is the important part. Although there are many remedies by which to get out of miserable life, says yes, you can fix it, but any such remedies in the material world are more miserable than the miseries themselves. So you try to fix it, and it just gets worse. It's not going to get better. If you try to fix things in the material world, it's not going. And then he says, "Therefore, I think that the only remedy is to engage in your service. Kindly instruct me in your service." So Prahlad Maharaj says, okay, there is no fixing of this material world. This is the way it is. The way it is. It's a miserable place, and there is no shelter in this material world. That's the idea. There is nothing that will give you shelter in this material world. There's nothing. And then Prahlad Maharaj says a bit. He gives a bit more details about so-called shelter. He says, "My Lord Nisimha, O Supreme, because of a bodily conception of life, embodied souls neglected and not cared for by you cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly impermanent." What he said before. And then he gives some examples. For example, a father and a mother cannot protect their child. A physician and medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient. And the boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. His Holiness Prahladananda Maharaj likes to give this example of the Titanic. Because people were thinking, this Titanic, we have it covered. Finally, the best ship in the history of the world. This is protected for this. They were really engineering it. They were thinking, okay, for this, we do this, for this problem, we do this. And it's going to be perfect. It's indestructible. and then they get it in the ocean first time. Not first time they get it, and then there's something happens, and it doesn't work. all their engineering, all their plans, or their the indestructible boat is destructive. Destructive. What to do? You cannot do anything. There's no and all these things. They are really nice to remind us that there is no shelter. We have so many shelters in this material world, and there is no shelter other than Krishna. And Krishna will be very kind sometimes, and will just show to us that our so-called shelter doesn't work. He can show. I have an apartment, like which I rent, and I was thinking, okay, this is I have some financial stability, and I will rent this apartment. So, but if someone comes and there's a bomb in my apartment, that's finished. Like all my financial stability is gone. What's finished? And so there's no real shelter, and this is really the mercy of Krishna, that he takes our attachments, that he shows us, you could die tomorrow. What are you gonna do if you're going to die tomorrow? I don't know. Maybe I will become more serious in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so just do it. So it's good to think, I have no real shelter, and all these shelters that I have, they will be taken away. So let me become more serious in Krishna consciousness. Let me work towards this undivided devotional service. So for a few days after meditating on this war in Ukraine, I was waking up, and when I was chanting my rounds, I was a bit more attentive. Because I was thinking, I could maybe I could die. I could like Maharaj Yudhishthir said, maybe one day I will even die. And of course, I mean this Slovenia, which is safe, and this is the nicest country on earth, and everything is protected here, but I might die, So I was thinking, how do I want to live my life if maybe I don't have so much. So this is for me some impetus to try to become a bit more serious. And there's always this tendency to be like, you come first time, you see Panchatattva, you're like, wow, wonderful, whoa, I haven't seen anything like this. You come second time, you come third time, like, you come 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, Panchatattva, Panchatattva, Prabhupada, yes, Prabhupada, nice to see you. But, don't take it so seriously anymore. You have Maharaj is giving class every day. So first classes, and then you're like, oh, he's going to tell me again, I'm not this body and I should surrender to Krishna. I heard this so many times. Okay? So with material energy tends to cover like this. Yes. Sleep. No worry. Don't take things so seriously. Just sleep there, and things will be okay. No worries. I will take care of it. Yeah. There's many shelters. And this. So as I said, these problems in the material world are helpful. It's even some people are even praying for these problems. Like you have Queen Kunti, which is the classical prayer, where she has been through so many things, and her and the Pandavas, and what does she say? Okay, I don't want to have problems in the material world anymore. Does she say that? No. No, she says, I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again. she's really happy that that the material world is full of problems, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. So if you have this mentality, then Krishna will protect. Krishna will really protect us if we just take shelter in Krishna. And sometimes Krishna will protect in a different way than what we expect. Like we have, he will protect. The priority is not to protect the body. The priority is to protect our consciousness. So you have many devotees. Sometimes people, devotees are killed or something happens to them. And we think, oh, how did Krishna protect him? Because he's a devotee, he's chanting Hare Krishna, and this has happened to him. How was he protected? And there's this nice example from Salted Bread, this book. It's a really interesting book. Intense, interesting. That it's about Krishna consciousness in the USSR, in the Soviet Union. Really intense. You would go. They went for their first program. Like here, you would come for Sunday feast, and then the KGB would come also to the Sunday feast. And there's KGB. They would not be in a very jolly mood. So then they would go to your family and say, it's not good what he's doing. You don't play around. Okay. And then he would say he would go for next Sunday feast, and then they would have a Gaur Purnima in someone's house, and still like KGB comes again. And then they go they go out to distribute books. I mean, it was not like here that you have some books and everybody knows, okay, these Hare Krishnas have books. No, you would have to somehow get the books into the country, hide them from the police. If they would catch you, they would take all the books, and you will get in big trouble. So they would go out, distribute some books, and the KGB would come and they would just go to the police station and just a bit of physical correction. And then it goes even worse. Then after some time, these devotees, they were deported in Siberia. And in Siberia, it's cold. I mean, I know Slovenians like cold, but this is cold, like -40, -50. It's really cold. And these devotees, one of them survived, but one didn't. And he 1 year, 2 years, he just maybe something like this. In the last day of his life, the guys who he was sitting with, because he was not staying with the devotees, they described that he got how you say this, a bed sheet. He made a dhoti out of it, and he found something to put some tilak, toothpaste, huh? And he took his japa beads, and he was so blissful. He was so happy. And he was like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And the other was like, oh, what's so blissful? What's this guy's? And he was like pushing him. And he just left. So this is protection. This is real Krishna, real protection from Krishna. So Krishna will protect. Sometimes he will protect the body, but this is the protection, because this devotee, probably he went back. He was just chanting Hare Krishna very blissfully in the time of that. So that's real protection. So this is the test to see where our consciousness is. So the idea which I wanted to transmit today, it's mostly to myself. If you're also concerned, then it's good for you. That we might all our shelters they are not going to help, and we might go anytime. We don't know how much we have left. We think we can think, oh, I'm young, I'm Mataji Govinda Priya, she's nodding because I swear I wrote these notes before that, and we don't know how much we have left. So we should really try to become a bit more serious, chant Hare Krishna more seriously, and try to go out and distribute this knowledge to as many people as possible. And then we'll see. Krishna will help us if we really take shelter. Well, who knows? Maybe in 1 year we have to hide the books. We cannot go in Dhoti anymore. We can. So at least now that we can. That's what I wanted to say. If there's some comments, complaints, concerns, questions.
Nismo dali glas. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. You were mentioning about these questions that Yudhishthir Maharaj and Dharmaraj were speaking, and it's true. I mean, I agree with you, because in this world you don't have real shelter. I mean, it's Bhagavatam says they're fallen infallible soldiers or something. But still, in those questions, and one of the questions was, who's one's best companion in this world? Yamaraj asked Yudhishthir Maharaj. And the answer was one's wife.
One's wife.
Yes. That was the answer. And then a few questions later, that comes this question that you were talking. What's the most amazing thing in this world? But so he said that one's wife is one's best companion in this world. So, and then I didn't say any comment, But still, I know you live in the temple. But still, what do you think he meant with this? Because Yamaraj is he's like one of the how much? Mahajan, yes. So.
Yeah. I can speculate. I don't know. I can just speculate. Many times the answers are going gradually, and then they give an answer to a certain level, and then maybe they go up, and they say, okay, yes, this answer. Like Krishna is giving some ideas, and then he says, actually, sarva dharmam paritaja. So maybe it's on this level, but yeah, I mean, it's good to have a good wife. No? It's always good to have a good companion. Yeah. Association is important. Yeah, for Grihastha, I don't know. I live in the temple, so I have no idea how this goes.
And the last question this was not the last question, but the last question was, what's the news in this world? That was the last question. This was a little bit...
the answer was that there is no news. Or
the news was that, he gives some he compares this life with the sun. How is it? The days are counted, and people are frying on a pen. every day because of the scorching heat of the sun, and just your life is coming to an end, like this. It's like that's the news of this world,
Yeah, nothing is happening.
Nothing.
Eating, sleeping, mating, undefended. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, something else.
Hare Krishna. You're saying like how we are in this illusion that we think we have so much time, but at the same time, when it comes to making the right decisions or doing the right things, suddenly there's no more time for things. Or you think, oh, I have no time to do this or to do that. So can you explain this internal contradiction about thinking we have so much time and then suddenly we have no more time for anything?
Yeah, that's of course. Actually, we are eternal, so we have a lot of time. It's not so much that we don't have time, but it's who knows in which position we will be. So when they give this this stress on we don't have time, the idea is we should get serious. Not that I don't have time. So the idea is to help us become more serious, because now we are in this environment. We can chant our rounds, we can read, we have gorgeous deities, we have everything we need to make some progress in spiritual lives. And if we don't take it seriously, who knows, maybe next life we will not have this wonderful opportunity. So that I don't know if I answered. So that's the stress but this doesn't mean we have limited time then I will not prepare for tomorrow. I don't know how much I have to live, so tomorrow I don't know. We don't buy any boga because who knows how much we. No, it's Brahminical to plan, also. It's a mode of goodness means planning, but the difference in mode of passion, this planning you think it really will happen like this because I'm the controller. Everything will happen according to my plan. And in mode of goodness, you plan. It's good. You're thinking, oh, well, we will do like this, we will do like this, and then you're also open to Krishna, who will say, okay, just adapt it, do like this, maybe better. Many times we start, we do something, and then we have a plan, and then we see it's not working. So we just adapt. Like many times, many preaching projects, they start with, okay, let's just start. And then you get some ideas. Oh, okay, we can improve. Well, actually, it doesn't work like this, but we'll try like this. And then after you'll see, oh, good, nice. So planning is good. It's good to take. It's also good to take care of our bodies as if we will live a bit more than until tomorrow. But the stress for this we don't have time is that we don't know how much time we have, and we should become more and more serious. I don't know if I answered. Okay. Okay, thank you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.